Am I audible? Bhaskar? Avirav?
You're audible.
Yeah, yeah,
Perfect.
You're audible.
yeah.
ठीक है. So, hey, hi everyone. To my colleagues, hey, hi Bhaskar, hi Avinav, and people who might join when this call, when this stream is live, and to people who might join after the live. So, hi everyone. Let me explain why we live stream every week on Sunday, 9 p.m. for 30 minutes. So, this is inspired from a blockchain project called MakerDAO, which used to basically live stream their community meetings and progress meetings online to build transparency within the community, and also it's a good way to basically show the hard work that we are doing, what the work that we did this week, the engineering problems that we are facing, and basically a high level overview of things that are going at Dhwan. And today we do not have two of our colleagues because they are ill, and we wish them a good recovery. And especially, I think today's call is important because this stream is going to be more research oriented. Uh, we launched our pre-MVP on March 20, and right now we are focusing, I think, on the research side of machine learning that we're doing at Dua. So let me share my screen and basically tell what is the agenda for this call, and then we can like talk about couple of things that we'll be talking about in this call. So Bhaskar, Abhinav, let me know when my screen is visible, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Shit, your screen is visible now.
Mm, sure. Cool. So let me talk about what is the agenda for this call is. So, hi, for Dhuan Livestream 9, we'll be talking about couple of things. So, first thing is that what is the progress on the model layer of infrastructure for Dhuan platform. The second pointer will be designing the Dhuan design language system for Dhuan platform. And third is work on the communication service that we are building, and speeding one more topic that we'll be talking about will be speeding up productivity for by utilizing the AI leverage. So let me give a high level overview with what we have been doing this week. So we are basically working hard to focus on three things right now. The first thing is that basically the post inference ML processing infrastructure, that is largely that after the inference happens with the on-device AI, to make the final output production grade and to provide a very good quality to the user. I think we need a philosophy that guides the one team and us towards how do we make our inference at a level which is just not acceptable, not only acceptable, but really good at what it does, right? And that is something which is important to the mission of the company. And for that, uh, it's a Brownian motion. Basically, like every research that you do for any topic, I think the strategy right now is basically thinking out loud, ingesting a lot of content, many blogs, many architecture, and many things that are being done in the voice AI segment when it comes to artificial intelligence. And second thing is that how do you make it production grade, right? The initial experimentation trials that we have been doing with the ML pipeline that we have built, that is good when it is in the, you can say, in the developer environment, but when a user will use the platform in production, then we need to be really good at what we do. And I think there are some companies in this industry which are basically setting some good standards that we can live up to. Like one startup that I've been following up recently is an Indian startup called Whisper Flow. And Whisper Flow is basically an AI which allows you to use voice for typing context-wise on a lot of platforms. And it has really good latency, a really good transcription, and really good post-processing. So basically, transcription has changed in the last couple of years, right? It's largely in this year and the last year. And how the transcription has changed is that today the AI agent which translates your audio to text does not only transcript it to the target language, but it also provides a powerful post-processing capabilities, like basically omitting the repeated words, skipping, formatting the text, keeping the context of the platform that you're using, and a lot of work and a lot of features that can be built on the post-processing layer of the inference stage. So that is something which Bhaskar has been researching for, I think, the past couple of weeks. And I'd like to let Bhaskar talk about it for 5-10 minutes, and then we can move to the next pointer. So over to you, Bhaskar. Basically, can you give a high-level overview of what research we have been doing for basically setting up the philosophy of how the ML architecture should look like, with a target that we can reach some really good numbers when it comes to how the machine learning pipeline is performing for, let's say, the core infrastructure of the one platform. So over to you, Bhaskar.
Yeah. Hi, Harshit. Thanks for passing on the mic to me. Yeah. Hello, everyone, whoever is watching this live stream. So, yeah. So, what I will be talking about today is basically I will be talking about something like which has genuinely shaped about how we think about building Dhwana. The focus is more on the machine learning parts itself, as Harshit mentioned. But this is all about the principles of like coding and implementing machine learning things to give our users maximum productivity, like maximum on the product. So systems and what are the principles and philosophies that we are following. So our main guide towards this is a document known as Rules of Machine Learning, which has been it is an article by Martin Zinkiewicz from Google. It contains 43 rules which have been written from years of watching ML projects succeed and fail at scale. And the core message is something which most of the people don't want to hear. The message is most of our ML problems are basically engineering problems in disguise. Yeah, I think most of the persons who are the engineers might not relate to it, but yeah, that also hit different when I first read it too, because it kind of described exactly where we were. Now, giving a little context, our startup Dhwana is a sovereign on-device AI product, which is a real-time hearing aid for hearing impaired users. Basically, live speech comes in, captions go out, everything runs on the phone itself with no audio sent anywhere, no cloud, no external servers. Just it's just the device. So talking about myself, when I joined, our my natural instinct was to go straight for the best model possible, finding the most accurate ASR, the most powerful architecture, very ML first thinking, as you can observe. But let us understand what Zinkevich says. Zinkevich says here to stop. Like first, we have to get our pipeline solid first. The core principle is a great model sitting on the top of broken infrastructure will give us nothing. And honestly, that reframing changed everything about how whatever we are building here. So it is a set of 43 rules. I have been going through it. So I will be talking about a few of the rules here in this stream. The first one, the most important rule which I prefer is the rule one. Like the rule one basically states that we shouldn't be afraid to launch without machine learning. Zinkevich's argument is very simple. He says that if we think ML will give you a 100% improvement, a well-designed heuristic can get us the 50% of way there immediately. Initially, we can shift the heuristic, measure it. Only we should reach for a model when the heuristic genuinely gets out of room. So how do we relate to it? So for us, this showed up right at the start. Before writing a single line of microservice code, we ran a full benchmarking script. We evaluated different ASR models across around 300 real audio clips covering different Indian languages, different noise, different text, different recording environments. We built a proper test harness, measured metrics like word error rate and real-time factor for each model, and made a data-driven selection. So what was this? This was basically the rule one in practice. We didn't guess. We didn't go with the most exciting model on paper. We picked the one that actually performed on our specific data. That discipline, which like choosing on evidence rather than assumption, is what this philosophy was about of the rule one. Now let me drive you towards the next rule, the rule two. Rule two is the one which I think about the most. It basically says design and implement your metrics design before you build anything else. Sorry. So yeah, here Zinkevich's reasoning is very blunt. Like if you don't instrument early, you will spend weeks later trying to grep through logs to reconstruct history which you never captured. You will flying blind exactly where you need visibility most. Yeah. Also, this was the thing which we felt directly here during our like sessions. We had a like initially we had a working transcription endpoint. Things were running, and then someone asked a very basic question about performance in one of our meetings, like how long is the model inference taking, separated from everything else around it. And then I realized that I couldn't answer that precisely from what we had. This is the gap which Rule 2 is exactly warning us about. So now the current system is designed to log detailed performance of every it logs performance data for every single turn, latency at each stage, confidence scores, resource usage, etc. Not because we needed it that day when the question was asked, but because we need to make decisions later, like about which model to run in which condition, about when the system is degrading, about what is exactly happening at say 2 a.m. when something breaks. The data has to be there. So the metrics are basically not monitoring; they are the foundation that every future decision will be built upon. When things break, when the scale is large, when components are many, so metrics will be there, the foundation that every future decision will get built upon. Now yeah, let's talk about rule 3. What rule 3 says is it just closes the loop. It says choose ML over a complex heuristic but never over a simple one. Rules one and three basically they together form a life cycle. We start with a clean rule. If it stays clean, leave it. But the moment that the rule starts growing into a tangle of conditions, like there are many if else cases, edge cases, that is a signal. We should stop maintaining it. We need to move towards training a new model. Basically, a complex heuristic is worse than a model because at least a model is honest about its uncertainty. So as we move forward with Dharna, building out more intelligence into our system, handling different acoustic conditions, different speakers, different use cases, this is the lens we are applying. Initially, every component starts simple, every component gets measured, and complexity only enters when the data earns it. So initially, these are some of the philosophies that we are building Dhana upon, like not the most sophisticated model, not the most complex system, the most honest one, where every decision is being earned by evidence, every component is observable, and ML interns only when similar approaches are genuinely out of room. So yeah, the document is large. I have been reading it, and our philosophies, our future philosophies, we currently are tracing onto that and may trace onto that also. I will keep sharing on more as this week, more as I go further, and we are building on the post ML infra. So that's it from me for today. Passing on to Harshit.
Thanks, Bhaskar. And like always, I think you made some really good points regarding the fulcrum of, I think, we need to build some first principles, which will basically become the bedrock of the philosophy that we have for pre-inference, inference, and post-inference stage of all the machine learning stuff that we are doing for the one platform. And I completely agree with rule number three. I think rule number three is something which should be taken very seriously, should be a guiding principle for whatever architecture that we come up with for post-inference processing of our ASR, which is automatic speech recognition, which will be the backbone infrastructure for the platform that we are building. So let me share my screen and talk about another interesting thing that Abhinav has been working on. So we decided that we need a design language system for Dhwan because there are a couple of things which I believe very strongly when it comes to product design and especially design thinking. And there are a couple of principles. So one principle is that I really want to stay true to some ethos which were there in early Apple design, which was led by Johnny Ive. And I've been a big fan of all the work that Johnny Ive did at Apple. And I think they also had very well thought out design system, at least initially, right? All through the couple of years, like I think Apple design has suffered a bit in the last couple of years, but still there are some surprises here and there where I think we get to see some innovative design decisions that basically uh, force us to think that why this way, why something is built a certain way. So there are a couple of principles that we'll be following up for design for the one platform. The first principle is that minimalism. We want to keep the cognitive load of whatever UI or UX the user is experiencing, because the more you reduce the cognitive load, the more you make it easy for people to adopt your platform, right? I can say it in a simple way that a technology, when it becomes invisible, it becomes ubiquitous, right? So I think that is one guiding principle. A second guiding principle is that something which really disappointed me when I worked with Microsoft Teams was that it had very inconsistent experience across platforms at that point of time. Maybe they have improved it right now, but couple of years ago, when you use their Android app, iOS app, and web app, there were inconsistencies in a platform experience which is basically running on three different platforms, right? One is your web application, one is your Android, one is iOS. So I think that introduces error, that introduces a frustration in the user experience, because one thing works a certain way on the mobile app and works a different way on web app. So that is something which we want to avoid at Duan. We really want to provide a consistent user experience across all the platforms, whatever platform the user is using, whether it's Linux, whether it's Windows, whether it's MacBook, whether it's Android, whether it's iOS. The design language should be consistent. The design language should be predictable. So let me just talk about the second point, which pass the ball to Abhinav to basically dive a bit deeper and give us a high level overview of the research that we are doing for building the one design language system. On a high level, what I can point out is that it basically we want to finalize couple of pointers. One is the color palette for the user interfaces of the one platform, the uh, design philosophy that will guide all the design work that we do for the platform. And the third thing would be that what are our do's and what are our don'ts when it comes to design. So it's a still a work in progress. It is still a Brownian motion. We are moving in a many different directions. But the goal is to basically find a good destination. So over to you, Abhinav.
Hi guys. So today I will be explaining you about our design language, what we are researching about, and what we will be doing. So we live in a world that is incredibly loud, not just audible, but visually. Every app, every website, and every product is screaming for your attention with bright borders, harsh shadows, and constant notifications. But we believe in silence is the ultimate clarity. We are ingesting building interfaces. We believe that we are building quiet tools, philosophy, and instruments in general applications. So our philosophy lies in intentional asymmetry, right? And in modern design systems, the one px divider is the law. We have effectively planned to outlaw the line. We believe clarity shouldn't come; it should come from the rhythm of space and subtle shifts in background tones. Think of it like music. The notes matter, but the silence between them defines the melody. By using generous uneven white spaces, we don't just show content, we guide the eye naturally, reducing the cognitive load of the user. Now comes to our instruments. So in our instruments, when you click on a button, it just doesn't change color, it mimics mechanical resistance. We have implemented a 0.98 physical scale down to a 2% compression, and we have replaced styling with physics. Our shadows aren't aesthetic choices, they are whisper shadows. I our color palette, anchored by organic white, creates a surface where elements are nested, not just stuck on. This is atmospheric intelligence. Then comes to creative application. Finally, we look at the journal, how this system lives in the real world, from high performance web app. Our typography conversation between two pointer for data and editorial elegance of Monroe. In our journal of rules, there is one beacon, coral orange. We use it sparingly. It's not to just to decorate. It's a signal, a beacon for critical action, right? And in the conclusion, to wrap up, I will leave you with the immutable rule: we never use pure black. It's too fatigue. We never stack more than 3 levels of depth, and we never use off-white shelf of the icon. Every stroke is a custom weight designed to disappear into the background for those who don't need them but remain crystal clear for those who do. Thank you. Over to you, Harshit. You are not audible. Your mic is.
So thanks, Abhinav, for basically giving an insight into the work that you're doing. And that is what I was repeating that basically there are a couple of concepts, design concepts that we discovered and which we liked while researching and reading about what is being up with the design space when it comes to build platforms. So I will like to talk about two principles. The one principle is intentional asymmetry. So I think the best example which Abhinav showed us was of the official website of Tesla.com. And the intentional asymmetry basically says that we'll be using generous uneven white space to guide the eye naturally without showing very concrete borders, right? So it's like a fluid space, and basically, if you see the screen that I'm sharing, then you can see that there are no hard borders or very hard concrete delineation of components on the page, right? When we move from top to bottom, what we see is that there's there's basically asymmetric white space between components, and somehow that is helping us visually delineate between different parts of the page. And a second principle that we like in design, which we might be adopting right now, that would be, I think, the depth thing which Abhinav talked about, that do not add more than three levels of depth to any part of the UI. That will help us to keep the cognitive load of any corner of the platform to an absolute minimum. And while uh, doing while providing value to the end user. So uh, that's all. Mother will be basically doing a proper presentation for the Dhuan design language system in the upcoming live stream. It's a work in progress, but it's something which is once it's decided and once it is ready, it will give us a uniform design experience and a uniform design guidelines that we can follow across the platform, across different platforms, across different form factors, and especially uh, give a brand value. Matlab, it also help us build a Dhuan brand. So I think it's also part of the marketing importance of building a static website. So one update on the static website. So we are working on the static website. We do have it ready. We might be making it live this week or next week. There are a couple of problems that we are facing with the static website, but we'll be soon making it live for Dhuan.com. So one last thing which I'd like to talk before I think it's already 9:30. So this is something which we'll talk about in future live streams, maybe next week or next week. That is basically we're building the communication service for the one platform, and we're also building the model service because we decided that it would be a good idea to keep the model layer separate from the voice microservice, because voice microservice can focus on everything voice, and the model microservice can focus on everything model. That way, it will allow us to build two components of the infrastructure that work very closely but can be scaled independently. So I think since time has run out, we'll focus on this in the future live stream calls. So that will be all for this live stream, and really happy to say that some interesting things that I personally am also learning. It's a startup, so there's a lot to learn every day. But I think because I'm not a design person, I'm a platform engineer, so that gives me a good opportunity to basically see design from a proximity that I did not do before. So thanks, Bhaskar. Thanks, Abhinav, for joining the call, and thanks everyone who joined today to basically get an update on the Dhuan roadmap progress. And we wish you a good month. And basically, I think geopolitically will be uh, having some special circumstances. So uh, let's hope for the best and leave out the rest. Cool. Thank you.